Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Big Discussions 76 Sports. Happy Labor Day to all of you. For those of you who do labor, I labor, and I was just in awe earlier this morning thinking that a 4-day weekend just went by and it will be time to return to my day job for more labor tomorrow. Well, that being said, I was thankful to have another day off and to get some rest. I went to a celebration last night, so today is just kind of chill, and I am able to get this live stream done right now. I apologize for those of you who might have been looking for this at 5, but I decided to go ahead and just get it out of the way now. So let me make sure I can see myself on YouTube, then I'll jump in. I don't have a lot to say. Or much beyond what everyone else has said on their respective podcasts. I was watching Joel Klatt and Dennis Fithian, and I hopped onto Johnny Olden's stream yesterday. Shout out to Johnny Olden and A House Divided and everybody who dutifully covers our maize and blue. All right, so there's me right there on YouTube, and I'm going to play my intro, and then I'm going to start, and then I'm going to stop. I'm going to talk about what to expect in Saturday's game against Texas, and I'm going to give some thoughts from Saturday's game against Fresno State, and then I'm going to just talk about what I saw when I watched the Texas game, and then I'm going to give the prediction in terms of score, in terms of how much Texas is predicted to win by, and then I will wrap this up. Please smash that like button if you haven't, and also let me know what you think in the comments. I'm sorry, in the chat. We're live, so there's a chat. Let me know what you think in the chat as I go through all of this. So I'm going to play my intro here. Today, it's not going to be Let's Go Blue. It's going to be the yellow and blue. Here we go. Everybody, that was the Maize and Blue from the Michigan Marching Band. That song, yeah, it doesn't get you hyped up, but it puts you at a sense of calm and ease. Well, everybody, welcome back to Big Discussions 76 Sports. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar. Please like, share, and subscribe if you see fit. Shout out to Bo Lytle. Respect is earned. All right. For those of you watching, once again, let me know what you think there in the chat. Let me know what you think about, let me know your thoughts on Saturday's game against Fresno State. Did you watch Texas and Colorado State? Did you watch the USC game? I'm hearing a lot of things about USC in terms of them being a force to be reckoned with, and perhaps the team that nobody is seeing coming. Did you watch the Akron Ohio State game? Coach Antoine, during that game, was banging on Ohio State quite a bit and suggesting that Ohio State does not look impressive this year and that we will bludgeon them again. John Stoops, welcome, and thank you for commenting. Thank you for being the first commenter in. Everybody else, let me know what you think on this Labor Day. John Stoops says, The offense needs tweaking. Other than that, Michigan will be okay. Yeah, John. So you stole my punchline a little bit. No, that's cool. I think we've all made the same assessment after watching Saturday's game. I think Michigan team 145 is good in terms of its defense, in terms of its special teams. That new kicker is very good. He may, in fact, win us quite a few games this season. So there's no drop off there. But I think Saturday's game is going to come down to how many points the Wolverines can generate. Okay. The more, the better. Okay. And we're going to look at why. Before I get started, I just wanted to say something. I forgot to say this on Saturday's game. Let's see. Colonel Angus, thank you for stopping through. He says, we've got the Longhorns right where we want them. I was in Dennis Fithian's chat, and there was a gentleman named Quentin from the Longhorn Nation, and he was pretty bullish on his Longhorns, and he, so the Texas fan base is pretty hyped up right now. But what I was going to say was a quick aside, a quick thought from Saturday's game. I did end that game with a bit of a chuckle. I didn't mention it here because when you're live streaming, you're pretty much doing this on the fly. But the Will Johnson touchdown. So Will Johnson is going to be a high NFL draft pick in next year's NFL draft. He's probably going to win multiple awards this season, and he will have a hand in many of our victories, just like he did on Saturday night. But I got a bit of a laugh off of the picture. Where is it? Where's the picture? There it is. The pose in the picture after he ran the ball back, and I got a little bit of a laugh off of it this time. I think that look at Kenneth Grant down there too. I think it's good to celebrate your victories. I just thought that they didn't win that game impressively. I mean, the game was closer than the score indicated, than the final score indicated, and I didn't think that. Maybe it's a Gen Y, Gen Z thing, but I didn't know that was warranted there because, the game was closer. The game felt like it could have slipped away at some point. And I laughed at that because I was like, guys, I think they need to keep their heads right now. They got the win, but is the pose necessary at this point? But they got the win, so a W is a W. Please smash that like button if you haven't. Okay, so Steve Cherry is here. Okay, so we have representation from the Buckeye Nation. Steve says y'all have QB Texas going to beat the brakes off Michigan 40-17. Okay, so we have a prediction there from Steve Cherry that we're going to get blown out. That's entirely possible. A lot of it's going to depend upon what the offense does and how many points and yardage the offense can generate. He says, y'all don't have a quarterback. The Longhorns going to curb stomp the Wolverines 40-17. The rest of my Wolverine fans in here, do you agree with that? Let me know what you think. Okay, so I've got on my old school Michigan shirt here from Stephen Barry's. I was a student from 99 to 2005. That was Brady's first year, and I was there through the Tom Brady's leadership of the team to Chad Haney's. So that was the last run of Lloyd Carr. And so I was thinking back earlier, I saw Tom Brady's last year. It was a good last year. They came, if they hadn't lost those two losses, they probably would have been in the BCS national championship game against Florida State that year. I think Michael Vick's Virginia Tech team made it in. So they were right there. They were knocking on the door of another national title. And then the next year in 2000, that would have been, let's see, 24 minus 145. That would have been team 101. That would have been team 101. Just doing the arithmetic here. That was Drew Henson's last year. Explosive offense, a pretty good defense, but they wound up with 2 losses that kept them out of the BCS title hunt. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because being new to the university and being new to Michigan football, after those first 2 years, I was thinking, yeah, we're going to have another explosive offense going into 2001. So 2001, that was when John Navarre took over. Okay, and I think he was a sophomore, but also it wasn't just John Navarre taking over. You had Steve Hutchinson and Jeff Backus and the other veterans on that offensive line graduating. You had Anthony Thomas graduating. You had David Terrell going to the NFL with Drew Henson, right? So you had a complete unloading of all of that offensive firepower. So I remember sitting there watching Team 102. That would have been Team 102. And I watched that team sputter up and down the field. I watched John Navarre make mistakes. I watched a mediocre running game with Chris Perry and BJ Askew, and I was thinking, why can't these guys move the ball the same way that Team 101 and Team 100 moved the ball? Well, you had a new offensive line. You had younger guys playing. David Terrell, Drew Henson, Benny Jop. I think Benny Jopru was still there, but Aaron Shea, all those guys that were surrounding Tom Brady in his last year, and all those guys that were surrounding Drew Henson in his last year, all those guys were gone. So they had to reload, and all the younger guys had to learn to play. And so lo and behold, what was I looking at the TV thinking on Saturday night? Okay, I'm watching the offense sputter up and down the field and kind of just meander up and down the field, the complete opposite of what we saw last year, where the offense was a well-oiled machine. J.J. McCarthy would roll out, move the pocket, hit Colston Loveland, hit Roman Wilson, hit Cornelius. He would hit everybody, A.J. Barner, and now we can't get a first down. Well, you have a new quarterback in there, and you have a completely new offensive line. Okay, so I think that's kind of what we kind of need to, as a fan base, we kind of need to get in that mindset and realize that and comprehend that this won't necessarily be a continuation from Team 144, because the offense is completely turned over and there are a lot of bugs that are going to have to get worked out. Now, speaking of Lloyd Carr, I have 2 Lloyd Carr drops here. And this is going to usher in something else I was thinking earlier. Who remembers these 2 classic Lloyd Carr drops?
Who's our starting quarterback? What time's the game? 3:30? You'll see then.
And then there was this one, the second half of that.
Who's our starting quarterback? What time's the game? 3:30? You'll see then.
Okay, I uploaded 2 of the same. Anyway, at that time, Tom Brady's last year, as you know, it was in contention between Tom Brady and Drew Henson. And so I was thinking earlier, and I think me and Coach Antoine were thinking the same thing. What if Saturday night's game was just one big misdirection by Sharon Moore? What if Alex Orji comes out as the starter this Saturday? Okay, what if that was just window dressing for Texas to throw Texas off the scent? And what if they come out this Saturday with Alex Orji under center with the read pass option offense? And what if Saturday night was just a little bit of a test and a little bit of a scrimmage on the part of Sharon Moore and Kirk Campbell to see what they could get away with the bare minimum? What if that? I mean, nothing would surprise me at this point, but what if Orji does come out and start on Saturday night? Then I watched Joel Clapp earlier, and he once again reminded me and others that Michigan is a developmental program. So it's unlikely, once again, that we'll see the team just continue that stellar level like Georgia, who replaced Stetson Bennett with Carson Beck, and and Carson Beck, John Beck, Carson Beck. It's unlikely to see that thing. So with our program, there are peaks and valleys, and Joe Klatt said this. There are peaks and valleys, peaks and valleys. So we're more likely to see that as opposed to this steady thing that Georgia and Alabama were able to do. So what did you guys think about? Are you guys there in the chat? Are you guys convinced that Davis Warren is the guy? Were you guys Davis Warren guys, or were you guys Alex Orji guys? Where do you guys stand on the quarterback play right now? I think Davis has a strong arm, and I think if he settles down in the pocket, and I think if he's able to go through his reads, then I think the team will be in good shape. Johnny suggested that he's locking onto one target, Colston Loveland, which is a good target, but that he's locking onto his target. What do you guys think? I think that for the team to have long-term sustained success this season, he's going to have to be able to sit back there and move through his progressions. If he's just focusing, if he's just literally locking in on Colston Loveland, then that's not going to bode well for us because other teams are going to take that away. They may need to take it away for him to go to the other guys. The Alex Orji throw that hit the turf, Joe Klatt pointed out that may have been what the coaching staff saw in the spring and over the summer. That might have been what they saw to make them come to the decision that they came to start Davis Warren. So it looks like, yeah, Davis is going to be the guy. And maybe he should be. And it could be that we'll see a much more comfortable Davis Warren this week. They'll be looking at film. They'll be making adjustments. And, yeah. Let's just go over, before I go over the Texas stats, let's go over the stats from the Michigan game really quickly. And then I'm going to give the prediction, and then I'll wrap up. I'm going to read some of your comments shortly. Let's see. Fresno State. I don't want to go to the ESPN site because it locks my computer up and it's too busy. Okay, so Fresno State. I'm going to enable my screen share here. I'm going to read some of your comments. Let's see. So Steve Cherry thinks we're going to get the doors blown off. Colonel Angus, I like that name. He says defense will keep us in most games. The O-line had some communication issues. That should be worked out. The quarterback is not very accurate on deep balls. He did underthrow Fred Moore. If he put a little more air under that one, that would have been a touchdown. Okay, so there were a couple of near plays that could have blown that game open, and that is a good thing. John Stoops says, I'm leaning towards Coach Moore played a vanilla playbook on purpose. I say this because they did put a drive together, and it looked like Michigan could run the ball easily, but didn't want to show a lot. That's right. I thought, yeah, in that fourth quarter, when they got rolling, they started running the ball, okay, with Khalil Mullings. And that begs the other question, what's the deal with Donovan? Okay, quite a few people feel that Donovan needs to get constant touches, and eventually he'll break them open. But what's the deal with Donovan? Is it do they need to play him in the slot more and hand off to him sometimes and play him in the slot at other times, or is Donovan going to struggle for most of this year and then show us his brilliance towards the end? In the meantime, Khalil Mullings, he's a more physical back. He's a bigger back. I liked what I saw from Khalil Mullings on Saturday night. Colonel Ingus says it's crazy, but the forecast is 63 degrees on Saturday. That favors our bigger guys against their smaller guys. Yeah, tall dude. What's going on? He says, I think it will be a great game. 21-20, the team up north. How many think Fresno State would have beat OSU Saturday? OSU must not have looked good against Akron. Aaron Taylor says, Fred was a spectator on that INT. The wide receivers need to be way more physical. Frankie Russell says, Wake Forest natty this season. Are you serious? Wake Forest? Frank, this is the Michigan football channel, but okay, maybe before I wrap up, we'll take a look at how Wake Forest did. All right. So Fresno State, I'm going to enable my screen share here. Please smash that like button if you haven't. If you are new to the channel, Frankie Russell, Mr. Wake Forest, please consider subscribing to the channel. You guys keep letting me know what you think there. So I'm just going to sprint through this. Michigan won the game 30-10. Let's see. Yeah, so Davis Warren. Okay, Davis Warren is going to need to give us, he's going to need to generate more passing yardage on Saturday for us to be able to beat Texas, unless our defense just shuts Texas out. So Davis Warren went 15 for 25 for 118 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Okay. Khalil Mullings, this was encouraging. He carried the ball 15 times for 92 yards. Colston Loveland caught 8 balls for 87 yards and 1 touchdown. Certainly Texas saw that, and Texas will probably, I suspect Texas will make an adjustment to blanket or double team Colston Loveland so that it's harder for Davis Warren to get the ball to him. So Davis is going to have to look for somebody else on Saturday. All right. So there was a shaky performance by the offense. Let me see if the defense is here. Let's see. Michigan generated 269 total yards on offense for us, at least coming off of last season. That's an anemic total, 269 yards for the game. I think last year we were getting that for each phase of the offense, the passing game and the running game. So that's an anemic number. Passing yards, 121, rushing yards, 148, 4.4 average yards per play. Okay, so let me go take a look at, let's see, team player stats, Michigan. Okay. Alex Orji was 1 for 2. The first was that touchdown pass to Donovan Edwards. I think we were all encouraged after that touchdown pass to Donovan, and then he threw that duck towards Tyler Morris, and we were like, whoa, what was that, Alex? Okay, so Donovan carried the ball 11 times for 27 yards. We're going to need more production out of him. Alex was able to get some things done in the read option game. That will be important on Saturday. So Colston Loveland got the majority of the receptions. The next leading receiver was Tyler Morris with 3 receptions for 15 yards. So Davis Warren is going to have to spread that ball around more in order for us to get the win on Saturday. So defensively, I don't really have any complaints about the defense. It looks like, let's see, Josiah Stewart was able to sack the quarterback twice. Rayshawn Benny was able to sack the quarterback once for Fresno State. But they were able to get good pressure, and they were able to hurry Mike Keene. Will Johnson got the pick 6 that put the game away, and Zeke Berry got 1 as well. So I think the only I'm going to steal a page from and our new kicker, Dominic Zavada. I liked his play. He went 3 for 3, and many of those were long field goals. So we've got a clutch kicker, another clutch kicker. I'm going to steal a page from Johnny's book. I didn't pick up on this as I was watching it, but apparently Wink Martindale put the defense in 0 coverage a couple of times. And based upon what we did to Ohio State 2 years ago, 0 coverage is not good unless you have a good reason. And then also they were rotating corners in, so that there was that stretch when Will Johnson went out. And you wonder at that point, okay, is Will Johnson hurt in the first game? And no, they were just rotating the corners in. And that was the other interesting thing about this game, was that it seemed like the Fresno State offense, they were they weren't shy about attacking Will Johnson. So they were going at Will Johnson surprisingly, and he made them pay at the end. Okay. Let's see. John Stoops says Akron ran out of bench. That's the problem with smaller schools. Fresno State is going to win a lot of games, maybe make the playoffs. Colonel Inga says Frank put down the crack pipe. Yeah, I know over the years, Wake Forest has had a few good football years. They are mostly a basketball school. I'm thinking about Tim Duncan and Randolph Childress and those guys, but they are for the most part a basketball school. So, you know what, Frank, we'll take a look at the scores from Saturday to see how Wake Forest did. But after we talk about this game, Buckeye Battle Cry. Buckeye Battle Cry, welcome. We should collab at some point. I've watched your stuff. If you are who I think you are, gonna be a great game. Neither team scores more than 30. Leaning Texas right now, sneaking out a win in the Big House. Yeah, I think the game is gonna totally hinge on how much yardage and how many points our offense generates. That's it. Okay. Frankie Russell says Wake Forest fan, but Michigan better bring a game against Texas. Frank said Texas is for real this year. Aaron Taylor said Josiah Stewart had a fantastic game. He was all over the place. Colonel Angus says Michigan is a home dog, underdog by 1 touchdown. That's right. John Stoops says resting the defense kind of back ups my thoughts on the scheme of just getting the win and moving on. That's a possibility as well. Okay, so I did while some of you were watching. Well, some of you were watching Akron and Ohio State. I was watching Texas and Colorado State because I wanted to see what we would be up against, or should I say what the team would be up against next week. So I'm going to pull up the Texas game right now. All right. So Texas demolished Colorado 52 to zip. This game was over at halftime. So I personally was looking to see what kind of offense they had. I was looking to see where Quinn Ewers was throwing the ball. I was looking to see what kind of running game they had. And it looks like, to make a long story short, they have 4 solid, speedy wide receivers. One is Isaiah Bond from Alabama. So we know that when Nick Saban retired, a bunch of their players scattered. Okay. Isaiah Bond was one of them, and he made his new home in Austin. So they have 4 speedy wide receivers. Isaiah Bond did catch 1 touchdown pass on, I think it was 1 touchdown pass on Saturday. They have a big tight end. They have 2 backs. One is bigger, one is a little smaller and faster, but I think they've experienced some attrition there. Let's look at these statistics really, really quickly. So, again, this game was over by halftime. So Quinn Ewers, the highly touted Quinn Ewers. Shout out to Buckeye Alex. Quinn Ewers got his start at the Ohio State University, and I don't think he beat out C.J. Stroud for that starting spot. So he went back home to Texas. Quinn Ewers went 20 for 27 for 260 yards and 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. Okay, so the Michigan defense, and I don't think we'll have a problem doing it, at least early on, but they're gonna have to get pressure on this guy much the same way they got pressure on Michael Penix Jr. And they're gonna have to hurry him. They're gonna have to make him uncomfortable. But he's got a strong arm, and he's accurate. And he can move around a little bit, so they're gonna have to get pressure on him. But I think our team is more than up to the task. The thing that concerns me once again, or should I say the big question mark for this game, is how much offensive production will the Wolverines get? Because no matter how strong your defense is, even the most quality defenses, when they're up against a quality offense, they will eventually give up some points. So our offense ideally cannot sputter like it did on Saturday night against Fresno State. Hopefully, Sharon Moore and Kirk Campbell have made the adjustments or are making the adjustments as we speak. But that's what I'm seeing. So these are their two leading running backs. Jared Gibson carried the ball 10 times for 67 yards and 1 touchdown. This is their bigger back here, Jaden Blue. He carried the ball 11 times for 57 yards. So they had balanced production on the ground. Isaiah Bond got some carries. Quintravion Weisner, he got a touchdown. He carried the ball 5 times for 22 yards. Okay, and it went down from there. So here's their wide receiver core and their tight end. So Ryan Wingo caught 4 balls for 70 yards. Isaiah Bond caught 5 balls for 61 yards, and he caught a touchdown. It was a bit of a comeback route, but he ran in and ran back toward the corner of the left corner of the end zone. So he caught 5 balls for 61 yards and 1 touchdown. Jonte Cook II caught 3 balls for 56 yards. Matthew Golden caught 3 balls for 50 yards. Gunnar Helm, I think that's their tight end. He caught 2 balls for 42 yards. And then the running back, Jaden Blue, caught 3 balls for 37 yards. So as you can see there, Quinn Ewers was spreading the ball around. Quinn Ewers played the first half of the game, and then Arch Manning came in the second half. So as you could see, he was spreading that ball around. All those guys got touches. So our entire defense is going to have to play. And hopefully Wink Martindale will be able to dial up enough to confuse and slow down Quinn Ewers. And hopefully not the zero coverage. Shout out to Johnny Olden. So they have a complete offense. They have a veteran quarterback, a stud quarterback, and a complete offense. Now, here's the thing that stood out to me when I watched that game. I didn't see Texas get pressure on that Colorado State quarterback. So I was looking to see what kind of scheme they were running. They were using 3 to 4 down linemen, but it looked like their linebackers were playing coverage, and their defensive backs, they were dropping back into zone coverage as well. So they weren't really blitzing, and they weren't really getting there. Now, Quinton, the Texas fan who was in Dennis Fithian's chat, he said, okay, well, the Colorado State quarterback was getting the ball out that quickly, so they couldn't get home to him. But from what I saw, Texas didn't have much of a pass rush. You guys, if you watched the game, let me know what you think there in the chat. So you could see several tackles here. I thought this Jade Barron, he got an interception, but no one from that Texas front seven got back and sacked the quarterback. So at face value, I'm not saying they won't get back there for us, but at face value, if our offensive line, if there are no blown assignments, Davis Warren should have time to throw the ball back there and make good reads. I want to look at the overall team stats. I don't think, so in that game, again, this game was over at halftime. Texas generated a total of 545 total yards. They generated 355 passing yards and 190 rushing yards. They had an average of 7.4 yards per play. So I think our defense is going to be able to slow that down. I think our defense is going to be able to chop these numbers down a little bit. The question is, are they going to get support from the offense? And all field goals is not going to cut it against this team. The time of possession was pretty even between Texas and Colorado State, but I don't think that matters much because Texas was moving the ball prolifically through the air. Now, watch out for the time of possession against us, because Michigan does run the ball. And if Khalil Mullings and hopefully Donovan are able to get going, Michigan could win the time of possession battle in a way that keeps Texas's offense off the field and kind of leans the game in our favor. But that said, Texas can strike quickly if they need to. Okay, so the prediction for this game, you guys keep letting me know what you think there in the chat. And one of you all mentioned it. I think Stephen Cherry mentioned it. The prediction for this game is that, let me pull it up. Let's see, Texas versus Michigan prediction. And then I will wrap the stream up. Yeah, I'm not going to read this verbatim. Everybody, please smash that like button if you haven't. If you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. So Texas is favored to win by a touchdown. Okay, that tells me these odds makers, Texas is coming into our house, the big house. Okay. It's not going to be snowing or anything, so the weather will be favorable, will be fine for them as well. There'll be the crowd noise. There will be the the other aspects of playing in a visiting stadium. But a touchdown, to me, that says the game could be pretty even. I think, again, it's going to hinge on what our offense does. I think Michigan's defense slows down Texas, at least initially. But all of this is going to depend upon what the offense does, what Davis Warren does, how they protect him. Does he spread the ball around? And I think, once again, we're going to see Alex Orji sprinkled in for that run pass option action. Okay. So I think, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think this is the first time in a while Michigan has played one of the big boys at home early in the season. So I'm hesitant. You know what? No, I'm not going to make a prediction. I'm not going to make a prediction because I'm not an expert, but I will give that prognostication. It's gonna depend upon what our offense does. If our offense shows up and generates 24 points, 27 points, I think Michigan can win this game. Absolutely. But they're going to have to slow down Quinn Ewers in that offense. And that offense, when I watched on Saturday, the offense that it looks beatable. It's not a Stetson Bennett Georgia offense, at least not yet. So I think our front seven can get back there, and I think they will. The question is, are they going to get help from the other side of the ball? I'm going to read some of your comments here before I wrap up. Oh, Frankie Russell, we were going to take a look at Wake Forest. John Stoops says Colorado State is ranked. Let me slow down and pronounce my words. Colorado State is ranked 115th or higher. We really can't go by that game. John Stoops, thank you for that dose of reality. That's a good point. Colonel Ingus says Texas should come in overconfident. U of M will be focused. What is the record as a home dog? I would guess pretty good. Colonel Ingus says it's going to come down to Ewers. If he throws 2 to 3 picks, the Longhorns will lose. But Michigan has to take advantage of those. Okay, it can't be a thing where the defense makes a play. Okay, they come off the field, and then the offense keeps going 3 and out, or the offense gives the ball right back. It can't be that type of thing. Not against this type of opponent. All right, Buckeyes Battle Cry says Quinn Ewers and Isaiah Bond will be special, but with CJ Baxter, can U of M make Texas one-dimensional. Okay. See team stats. CJ Baxter. CJ Baxter. CJ Baxter. Yeah, that's going to be key. That will be key. Well, can the defense make Texas one-dimensional? Hey guys, do you have anything else? Do you have anything else you want to sound off on regarding this game? That's my prediction. Are we going to get some offense on Saturday? We can't. It will be good to get a pick six from Will Johnson, but you're going to need to beat that Texas defense up, grind out some yards on the ground, and get some yardage through the air to beat Texas. Hardware Freak says it's going to be offensive line Texas versus defensive line Michigan. Okay, so he thinks the game is going to hinge on the there. That'll be part of it, certainly. Buckeyes Battle Cry says CJ Baxter out. He is the running back for the year. Yeah, so Texas has experienced some attrition in the backfield, so that their top guy is out. So they're leaning on the other guys. Let's see. He says, yes, can't wait to watch Texas's massive offensive line versus Michigan's behemoth defensive line. Well, you know, the way football works, again, no matter how good a defense is, unless it's the 2000 Baltimore Ravens, most defenses, if they're left out on the field repeatedly and for too long, most defenses eventually wear down, which is why it's critical for our offense to generate some yardage, generate lots of yardage, and lots of points. Okay. Does anyone else have any other comments on Saturday's monster matchup at the Big House? King Kong versus Godzilla, Texas versus Michigan in the Big House. Anyone else? Yeah, so this, depending upon what happens on Saturday, this could easily be a three-loss season for Michigan if USC is as good as everybody's been talking about. Oh, Oregon didn't look good on Saturday night, so I think a lot of people were clowning Oregon over their. Let's take a look at the score since Frankie requested Wake Forest. Let's take a look around at what happened on Saturday. And there's a big game tonight as well. Let's see. Let me just pull this up. You guys keep letting me know what you think there in the chat. So week 2. Okay. Yeah, tonight at 7:30, Boston College and Florida State. All right, I'm going to enable my screen share for you guys one more time. How good are Michigan's cornerbacks? Well, Hardware Freak, they're damn good. You got Will and Quentin Johnson, and our backfield, yeah, it's good. But defensive backs, another thing about football, your defensive backfield in a lot of instances is only good as the pressure the front seven gets. So, all right. Let's take a look at what happened. So, let's see. Georgia beat Clemson handily. I'll just start at the top. So, NC State beat Western Carolina 38-21. Kansas beat Lindenwood 48-3. Missouri defeated Murray State 51-zip. Utah defeated Southern Utah 49-zip. Oklahoma defeated Temple 51-3. Georgia laid the smackdown on Clemson 34-3. Penn State, the Penn State Nittany Lions, defeated West Virginia 34-12. Iowa beat Illinois State 40-0. Tennessee defeated Chattanooga 69-3. Oklahoma State defeated San Diego State 44-20. Texas defeated Colorado State 52-0. The Ohio State University defeated Akron 50-6. So they won pretty handily. They won pretty handily over Akron. Miami defeated Florida 41-17. Kansas State defeated UT Martin 41-6. Alabama, who is ranked number 5, so they haven't dropped off as of yet due to Nick Saban's departure. They defeated Western Kentucky 63-0. Ole Miss defeated Furman 76-0. Frankie, I'm not seeing Wake Forest in here. Notre Dame defeated Texas A&M 23-13. Michigan defeated Fresno State 30-10. Oregon won. They defeated Idaho 24-14. Arizona defeated New Mexico 61-39. USC. Everyone's talking about USC now. They defeated LSU 27-20. And tonight, Florida State hosts Boston College. So, Frankie, I didn't see Wake Forest out there. All right, everyone, I am at the end. So I'm going to wrap this up. A quick plug, everyone. For those of you who don't know, I am now a published author, and I did write a sports-related book. I'll be flashing this throughout the season after discussing the Wolverines. But this link is below in the description box. I wrote a book called The Engineers of Western New York Basketball Story. It's available via hardcover and paperback. And also the ebook is available on Amazon. It's a sports-related story. I'm not going to bang you guys over the head with this, but I think it's a cool book. I think it's a cool story. So for all the readers out there, it involves basketball and what sports teach you as a young person. That's in the description box below, along with my newsletter. Please consider taking a look. Colonel Angus, I like that name. I've never seen you before. Please come back. He says, Frank, congrats on upsetting. He says, Frank, congrats on upsetting North Carolina A&T playoff bound. All right. I think we heard a little bit from Lloyd Carr. Let's, Andy Case, thank you. Thank you for that. Let's end with a little bit of Lou Holtz trolling Ryan Day from last year. Let's end with this. Let's end with a little bit of Lou Holtz.
He has lost to Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Michigan twice, and everybody that beats him does so because they're more physical than Ohio State. And I think Notre Dame will take that same approach.
That never gets old. That never gets old. Okay. All right, everyone. If you're watching on the playback, let me know what you think in the comments section below. If the algorithm brought you here, please consider subscribing to the channel. And hey, everyone, with that, go blue. As always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. And Sharon Moore and Kirk Campbell, make those adjustments. All right? Get that offense to generate some yardage and some points. All right. Take care. I'll talk to you on Saturday after the game. Bye-bye.